seen Jane speak to the Association of Kootenay Boundary Local Governments 3 times now. And after each one, New Democrats and Liberals come up to me and say, you tell Jane to keep plugging away. The Green Party will get there in the end. And so what I want to say this morning is thank you, Jane. I think you've laid a base from which we can build in a new era for us. I mean, when I joined the party, to talk about climate change was a fringe subject. It's now mainstream, but I don't think the other parties take dealing with climate change as serious as we do, and we've got to convince the electorate of that. So thank you, Jane, and I'm really looking to hear how, having got a base, we're going to expand and build towards 2013. Please welcome Jane Sterk.
Thank you, Andy. And thank all of you for coming to this AGM. It's wonderful to be able to gather as Greens occasionally and to reflect on where we are and where we intend to go. And I think this is a very exciting time to be Green. I think that what Stuart talked about today feels to me like what the Green Party represents, an opportunity for us to come together and find a different way of moving forward so that we can all share this planet in a way that allows us to survive. And it's exciting to be Green generally, and it's exciting to be Green at the provincial level. And at the global level, we've just seen Carolyn Lucas, the leader of the Green Party of England and Wales, get elected to the British House of Commons, elected under the unfair first-past-the-post system, and benefited from a 4-way split. She only got 31% of the vote, which is quite extraordinary. And she is already working to find out what it is that her constituents want and how she will represent everyone, being fully aware that she represents everyone, not just that 31% that voted for her. And I think that that's what Greens represent, is everyone, even if they don't vote for us. And the UK Greens have been working diligently at the municipal level, and we have Angela Reid, who's also elected at a municipal level. I was elected for 1 term. We have Greens around the Paddy is elected on Kimberley Council. And we have Greens in Victoria and around the province who are elected at the municipal level. But that's been a very strategic part of the UK Greens strategy, and one that we are working for in 2011, hoping to have a number of people that will work at the municipal level first so we can build the capacity of people to move forward into our federal and provincial parliament. We also see Greens getting elected where they do have fair voting systems. Throughout Europe we have Greens. Many of them serve in the cabinets. There, a coalition is not an unfamiliar experience. It is just a rational way to deal with the fact that we bring diversity to the table, and we have to find ways to share that diversity and find common ground. It was interesting for me to read a little while ago that the Ukrainian Greens got an unexpected 7.4% of the vote and 5 seats in their parliament. And I read that in the Globe and Mail, and the Globe and Mail talked about how or implied through their discussion of the Ukrainian Greens, a sense of legitimacy. And yet the Canadian Greens and the BC Greens get higher percentage, and we're deemed to be not legitimate within the political climate. And so it's a very interesting thing that where you get elected, you get credibility, and nobody seems to associate the way you get elected with the fact that you do get elected. And so Greens are at a disadvantage in Canada and in British Columbia. I'm on South Vancouver Island, where Elizabeth May is running for the Green Party of Canada, and I've been out canvassing for Elizabeth since the beginning of November. And while it's important, I think, to be realistic and practical, I'm noticing at the door that people now recognize who she is. They know that she lives in Sydney. They know that she's running for the Green Party of Canada. They speak either immediately in a negative way about her, but more often positive about how she presents herself. And the Liberal and the NDP candidates are both relatively unknown. So it is a contest, I believe, between Elizabeth and Gary Lunn, who is the incumbent Conservative. And I'm very hopeful that we will see our second Green breakthrough in the next election in Elizabeth's riding. And that, of course, will be tremendously important and valuable for the provincial Greens as well. In my talk, I want to talk about what we've been doing with the party at the provincial level for the past year, and then I want to discuss why I believe we're increasingly important to the political landscape in BC. So after the election last year, which was last Wednesday, was the one-year anniversary, also my husband's birthday, and on the night of the election, I said that the campaign for 2013 was going to begin the next day. And then at the AGM, which was 2 weeks later, I committed to starting right then to work on 2013. And then reality set in. People felt exhausted, and we lacked a sense of direction. And we soon discovered that we needed to figure out how best to approach the changes that we needed to make internal to the party so that we could be competitive in 2013. How do you go from getting 8.3% of the vote on $100,000, which is the most efficient vote in Canada, to winning seats in 2013? And how do you go from getting that percentage and everyone immediately concluding that you're not electable to demonstrating that you can and will win in 2013? And how do you do it under a first-past-the-post voting system? So one of the first steps that we did was to take a look at our mission statement and to create a strategic plan. We felt that in our mission statement it was time to state our intention to win seats as the core purpose of our existence as a political party. Our previous mission statement had focused on influencing the policy of the government in British Columbia. And we know we can influence policy. The BC carbon tax is an example of that. The BC Liberals borrowed Green ideas about a carbon tax. They borrowed our ideas about tax shifting as a way to understand the importance of how a tax can work effectively. And they also showed that they can get it wrong and they can implement it badly. And it wouldn't take us long to look at the NDP for policies that they've adopted from the Green Party in rhetoric and if nothing else, and in their campaigns. We also know that other parties use Green Party language and concepts because they believe it's politically expedient and it's a way for them to get elected. And we also know that it is never accompanied with a sense of commitment to actually implement the policy that they've talked about. And Greens there is a reason for that. We are the only party whose policy is founded in a set of principles and who follows those principles and is not cynically inclined to say whatever it is that they believe the electorate wants to hear in order to get elected.